is up, guys? It's Nate, One Man's Odyssey, doing a day hike here in northern New Mexico. Today, we're attempting to climb up Mesa Alta, which is the highest point in the Chama River Canyon Wilderness. I was here about 6 months ago, right after a huge snowstorm hit the area, and it was way too snowy. I ended up doing Lake Benchmark instead, but I'm back. As you can see, much less, basically no snow cover. So it's really good to be here. We haven't gotten much snow since that snowstorm, a few flurries here and there, but nothing to really accumulate. We're at a really cool spot right now. As you can see, we have this great view of, I don't know what this valley is called, but it's the town of Coyote, Youngsville. Those are down there. You see Cerro Pedernal behind me. I believe that is Polvadera Peak. And we're kind of by this gully right now with the view of these huge cliffs that are on the south side of Mesa Alta's flanks. So we're heading up to the peak. There is no trail. I shouldn't really say that. What motivated me to do the peak this way, there is a forest road that will take you up the mesa. It's a little bit further west of here, and you can get much closer to the peak, like within a mile without having to hike. I really wanted to hike up this because the Chama River Canyon Wilderness is a beautiful area. And for a long time, I've thought, well, how can you make a backpacking trip here? The Continental Divide Trail runs right through the heart of the wilderness, but of course, that doesn't loop around or anything. So if you wanted to do a loop in the wilderness, you'd have to be creative. And so I looked at this spot. There's a trail on the map. I believe it's trail 78, 74, something like that. But I highly suspected it did not exist, especially because the route it took seemingly went straight up a cliff face. And I figured, I don't know why this is on a Forest Service map, but it's clearly not a real trail. But yeah, I wanted to just test and see if this was a doable route. At this point, I've done so much off-trail travel that I can generally tell by looking at something whether or not it's a doable route. And this has been more than doable. A little bit further down, there was some Badlands type area that was a little bit, it wasn't even really difficult to, it wasn't technical or anything. It was just difficult to navigate. It was hard to tell where the various veins of the gulches and gullies went and where the canyon tops went. And so I eventually just gave up and decided to just keep going up, even though it didn't really look like it would work. And as you can tell, it does go up, although it thins out very thin. It's kind of actually slightly exposed up here. Pretty cool. So it's been nice ever since I decided to just commit to this ridge top. I did see a cairn, as you saw. So that means somebody has been up here before and found it important enough to mark. It's a little bit tough to tell from looking at the map, but I believe the trail on paper, like if you were to superimpose a trail onto the scenery, the trail goes like right here, which makes zero sense. It's possible the trail sort of goes up here. Well, that is a cool echo. I don't know if you guys can hear that. But yeah, that doesn't make any sense to go that way. I don't see how I would be able to get up this cliff band, and that looks really it's a really sketchy drop right there. So I'm not gonna hang around there. Instead, what I think I'm gonna do is I'm gonna kind of just cut straight across that way and kind of scramble my way up that gulch. It looks pretty safe. And then maybe either keep going up the gulch or try to go up this face right there. It's a little hard to tell from looking at it whether it's loose dirt like I'm on right now or whether it's rock. If it's rock, that looks like a pretty good ascent point, but if it's loose dirt, probably try to stick to the gully, or if nothing else, I am very confident that I could just keep going east, which is that way, to ascend somewhere that is definitely not technical and no exposure. That's where I last talked to you. Came up this gully, came up around here, then moved up this. Really loose rock. It's like this mixture of whatever this stuff is and dirt. So it stayed pretty steady, but definitely if it was sketchier, I wouldn't have relied on it. But it never gave way on me or anything, so it was kind of reliable. Wow, that is a beautiful view. Except for the fact that I have to get up it somehow. It is not obvious how I'm going to do that. This is like not steep at all. So I'm kind of thinking, do I go down? I don't know, maybe it's about a 40-foot drop into there, but it looks doable from different angles. So the question is, do I drop down there, come back up here, sorry for moving the camera around so much, and just accept the easy way up? Or it looks like I can maybe, along this rib, work my way up and above that rock up there, maybe walk along that bench eventually make my way up to the summit, like over this whole formation. But I think I'm going to go, my instinct is to go for the former. I don't want to get cliffed out and have to just either give up or add a lot of mileage and time to this trip. So I think I'm going to try to drop down into this gully and move up this spine right here, which should be pretty easy. All right, we're at the bottom of the gully now. You can see there's the scenery I was just looking at from the other side. I will say here that I did not, like, looking at the topo map does not imply that this gully is this steep. So I thought I would easily be able to go that way, but I'm not. But we already knew that when we got down into the gully. I'm just explaining why I'm seemingly losing a lot of elevation and gaining it, because the topo map does not really imply that you have to lose a lot of elevation. But anyway, we're gonna try to make our way up there. I think we could just go up this way. That's what it kind of looks like from this angle. We'll see. But I don't think I'm gonna take this way back. I think I am gonna go much further east to avoid any kind of scramble and having to deal with this again. This is kind of obnoxious. The dirt is very loose. As you can see, there is some snow here in this shaded gully. So we're gonna opt for an easier way on the way back if we can manage one. There's our quarry. It is Mesa Alta, about 250 feet higher than us. We're going to go around to the right, which is east, and work our way up. There should be like a shoulder between the two mesas. I should mention that I did not tell the whole truth earlier. Mesa Alta is actually not the high point of the Chama River Canyon Wilderness. It is just outside it. The real high point is an unnamed mesa that I think is right there behind trees. I did lie again. That's not Mesa Alta. That is. But I couldn't see that from over there. Well, if you want to, you can avoid the hike, avoid any kind of scramble, and just drive up. Cut logs here to me, and looks like there's some 2-track right there. Even though the official forest road doesn't go up here, it looks like there's a path. So you can get within probably 300 feet or so, because that's Mesa Alta right there. So if you watch this and you thought, dude, you're insane, what are you doing? You can come up here and just drive. Here we are, Mesa Alta, the official peak. Although the benchmark is slightly south of here, it does look like there's a register, but it's got a beautiful rock for us to stand on. Check that out. Great views from up here. I'm gonna sign the register and then we'll take a look at some. We are now descending Mesa Alta and going to the unnamed sub-peak that is the highest point in the Chama River Canyon Wilderness. As you saw probably, we got really good views to the south, the west, the east, but to the northeast, there were trees in the way. You You could see way in the distance the San Juan Mountains. Very beautiful. Love seeing snow-covered Rocky Mountain peaks in the distance in Colorado. Man, that has me pining for warmer weather. But we are having a good time right now. I will speak more when we get to the east peak of Mesa Alta, but this was definitely a lot more adventurous of a summit than I thought it was going to be. I think we just have crossed into the wilderness boundary, so we're officially in the wilderness that we came to High Point, and I think we're just about 500 feet away from the high point. Here's the east summit of Mesa Alta. Here is the view. Man, there's a big gully down there. I'm gonna have to look for that on the way back. It is very nice. Not too dissimilar to the one from the actual Mesa Alta, but you get a little bit of a better view of Abiquiu Lake down there. Really a great peak. All right, it's 9:36 right now. So we made okay time. It took us about 3 hours to get up. I was kind of more expecting it to be like two and a half, but that was assuming that it was going to be pretty easy route. With all the scrambling, the steep stuff, the loose dirt, that added on about half an hour to an hour. I planned for that. I should reiterate, even though I've already mentioned it once, that I fully did not expect there to be a trail. A lot of times the Forest Service maps, the ones on like Cal Topo, show trails, and they don't really exist. That did not surprise me. What did surprise me was that I don't think really any topo map I looked at truly captured the depth of those gullies, especially around that knob, and that made getting in and out of those gullies very difficult. So I'm really hoping that we're definitely going to try to take a little bit more of an easterly route back. And I'm really hoping that works out for us. Of course, it could fail, could get cliffed out, and then I have to go back uphill to go downhill to do a route that I don't want to do. But I have studied this route for a long time, probably since like 2018, 2019. And I do think that will be doable. It would be a class 1 bushwhack, granted, but off-trail class 1 down the slopes. I'll just go to some power lines that go straight to my car. So I'll just make my way to those power lines and then follow those to my car. So it's definitely a difficult hike. I would say the verdict is in that you should not go backpacking up the route I took. That would not be very fun with a pack on. It wasn't even really like, I actually was having kind of fun. I was having a little bit of fun doing the scrambling, doing the stuff, but then once I had to get off that knob and go into the gully, that got really steep. That was not fun at all. I was scrambling on hands and feet up loose dirt. It was basically 2 steps forward, 1 step back, with the fact that I was like slowly sliding as I climbed. Not a good time. Would be 3 times worse to go down. So I cannot recommend that as a backpacking route. And honestly, as a day hike route, I don't think I would do it again. But if you want the challenge and you want the fun of the scrambling, go for it. It's not dangerous or anything like that. I mean, any more so than a standard hike is. Today's lunch, I'm going to go with some Piri Piri sardines, and I got a Moon Man Pale Ale from my friend Jeff. I'm not doing a backcountry beer review. Sorry if some of you got your hopes up, all 15 of you. But I have actually reviewed this beer before, so you can go back. If you missed those beer reviews, go back and find this one. This can got really beat up in my backpack. It was a regular can when I put it in, and now it looks like it went through a wood chipper, and that's probably all that scrambling and stuff. So anyway, it's a beautiful late morning right now to enjoy my brunch, I guess, my lekfist, and then probably just stay up here about 5-10 minutes and then head down, hopefully easy downhill. It is December 20th, so Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. I'm sure this video will air well after those dates, but still I wish them to you and your family. Thank you for watching my humble channel. If you haven't, please like and subscribe. You know, I rarely throw that one in, but maybe it's a good time to remind you. Anyway, I'm gonna eat, and I'll see you back on the trail. The beans have been devoured, and the beer has been imbibed. So we are heading down now. So far, so good. I don't think we're past the cliff bands yet, but based on multiple topo maps, this should be a good way. Here's a pro tip for off-trail travel. If you're forging your own route and you want to try to find somewhere where you're either not going to get cliffed out or get to something too steep, a lot of times game trails are a pretty good indication of where you need to go. And so if you find prints with scat, it's a good idea to follow that. Not yet back at the car, but I'm pretty close. That way easier than my ascent. So really it's just, instead of going up the gulch that the supposed trail follows, you just go up the slope to the right of it. And yeah, like non-technical, pretty easy, not bad at all. You could definitely backpack up that. So the dream's alive. All right. Thanks for joining me, guys. See you next time.